So today we are going to discuss anti-differentiation or integration. Now, first of all, we have to understand how differentiation works. So let fx be a function, okay? Then, ddx of fx is equal to gx. You can call it gx, right?
Yeah.
Now, what is happening here? We call this as differential operator. You know that. Differential operator is acting on fx function. This is your input. Differential operator acting on fx function gives you the output, right? So this is your output. Okay, so this is differentiation. Now fx becomes gx. Gx is a different function. Sometimes you can call, if you want, you can call f dash x. So this is another way of representing that. But anyways, you understand this is a function of x. This is a function of x, right? So
Yeah.
f, g, f dash, those are just names, right? Now, if I draw this picture here, I have fx as my input and gx my output. Now, if I want to get gx from this side, I'm going to approach gx from this side. Then what I have to do with this description, I have to introduce this differential operator, right? Now, then the next thinking would be, so you can say this is f dash x also. Then the next thinking would be, is there any way that you can go in a reverse? Is there any way that you can get fx from gx? Reverse method, right? Now you understand, to go from fx to gx, differential operator, we call it differential operator, is used. To go from gx to fx, we are using another operator, which is a reversed operator, which we call integral operator. So how do you write that? This hook thing with dx. So this is called integral operator. Okay. So this is called integral operator. So now how do you write this? Okay. So how do you write this? So this one, if you apply this integral operator, we call it, you operate this integral operator onto gx, right? So I would take f dash x, same thing, right? And dx. So this is the place where you put your operator. Then
Yep.
what you should get? You should get fx, right? So you should get fx. You can see from here, this operator is acted on this, you get that. Clear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Similarly, in differentiation, we use this differential operator, ddx, and we acted that on fx function, then we got f dash x, right? So here, this would be your input, this would be your output now. In this case, this would be your input, and this would be your output. So you can see now from this picture, it's a reverse process. Integration is the reverse process. Physically, the meaning is different, but I will teach you that later. For now, just understand the concept. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to rewrite this one to show you something. So we know that ddx of fx is f dash x, right? So this is differentiation. Now, from the anti-differentiation, right? From the anti-differentiation, we have integration of f dash x. So look what I'm writing here. Integration of f dash x, that would be equal to integration. Now, f dash x would be ddx of fx. So I'm going to put ddx of fx here, right? So now, what would be the answer? Integration of f dash x dx. See, integration of f dash x dx. What would be the answer? Fx, right?
Yeah.
So then it doesn't matter how I write it, but ultimately the answer would be fx, right? Now, can you see if you have something like this, integration differentiation? So you can see here, this is your differential operator, right? And this is your integral operator, right? Along with this dx, right? Now you can see, if you want to get this output fx, and you have fx here, see, if you have fx, you get fx here, right? So this will tell you integral operator is going to cancel with the differential operator, and you will get the function back. Can you see? This is going to come out. Now, for example, if you have integration ddx of sine x dx, what would be the answer?
Sin x.
Exactly. That's the idea. Okay, so this and that will go. Sin x is the idea, right? So in the exam, you will see situations like this. They will give you few complicated functions here. Say, for example, x squared sine square root of x, something like this, dx. Okay, so if you get this complicated function here with ddx and integration, what you have to understand, these two will go, the output would be the function inside. Okay, so if you see this in the exam, don't be scared. Okay, so stick with your fundamentals. Any questions?
No.
No. Now, integration part, integration criteria, this can be divided into two. We call it finite integration and definite integration. So this is very easy. Finite integration would be integration with boundaries. Okay, integration of something fx dx, right, with boundaries. What do you mean by boundaries? So you have this a to b. A is called lower boundary, b is called upper boundary, right? So this will be equal to another function once you integrate. I will teach you how to integrate it, but first you understand the logic behind this the operation. So once you integrate, suppose your answer would be gx. Now you are applying the boundaries, lower boundary and upper boundary. So lower boundary would be a, upper boundary would be b, right? So ultimately this would be gb minus ga. Okay, so we'll be doing this later. Okay, right now you don't have to worry about this, but I will show you how to do that in the subsequent lectures. Now for the definite integration, that would be integration without the boundaries. Okay, so when you do definite integration, okay, what you do, you get the solution here, and always you are going to add a constant. So we call this arbitrary constant. Arbitrary constant. Okay, so we typically say k. This can be 2, 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter. Okay, so we will look into that later. Now, how do you get gx answers, right? That is the problem here. Now, when you introduce this integration to fx, you get the output, right? So this is your output function. Okay, so this is your output function. Here also you get the same output, right? This is your output function. Now here the problem is, if a function is given to you, how do you find the output function? Okay, The function is given to you. How do you find the output function? So here I will teach you a nice trick. Okay, nice trick, so that you can do it without memorizing anything. Okay, so now here I'm going to divide this into two parts. So this is for differentiation, right? Base cases for differentiation. Okay, so this part for base cases for integration. Okay, base cases for integration. Now the first one, the first base case would be ddx of x to the power n, which would be n xn minus 1, right? Or, okay, or you can say ddx, you there? Hello?
Yeah.
So, or you can say ddx x n plus 1 divide by n plus 1. If you differentiate this, what would be the answer? This n plus 1 is a constant, right? So n is a constant, you know that. So the answer would be 1 divided by n plus 1. You took this denominator out. Then you have x n plus 1, right? So the answer would be x n, right? Right? X n, but you have to multiply that by n plus 1, right?
Yeah.
So you can cut these two off. Okay, you can cut these two off. Then that would be x to the power n. So now we know ddx of this part is going to be xn. Now I'm going to refer the same thing in the integration, right? So the first base case in integration would be, from here you understand, if you differentiate this part, look at this, you get this output, right? Now integration would be the reverse method. Reverse method would be, if you integrate x to the power n, you should get this. Here you are getting this, right? Look at my arrow. From here you are going to get this output. Now in integration, what you are going to do, you are going to use this as your input and you are going to get this as your output. So in integration, you are going to integrate the output of this differential operation. That would be x to the power n, right?
Yeah.
If you have that, your answer would be x n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. I think when you see this one, you understand what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Then this is not a finite integration. Okay. So then you have to use a constant, right? We call it a constant. Okay. So this is,
Yeah.
you don't have this lower and upper boundary. Always you are introducing this integration constant. Now that is all about it. Okay. So the variations we will learn later, but now we will understand all the base cases. Now the second one. The second base case would be ddx of e to the power x is equal to ex. Now this is your input and this is your output. Here what you are going to do, you are going to give this as your input in the integration. So integration e to the power x dx, okay, is equal to, and once you use that one, so you are using this one right here. This would be your output. So casting. Okay, so that is very easy. Now the third one. Third one would be ddx of ln x. You know what is ln, right? Log e base.
Yeah.
That would be is equal to 1 divided by x. So I'm going to use that result here in the integration. Integration 1 divided by x dx Now you can see the output of this one is taken as the input to the integral operator. Okay, so your answer would be ln x plus k. Always you have to introduce that k. Now the next one, the fourth one would be, you know, ddx of sine x.
Yeah. Cos.
ddx of sine x is cos x. Good. ddx of sine x is cos x. Now when it comes to the integration cos x, okay, integration cos x dx, that would be
Sin x.
that would be sine x. Very good. Plus k. Now the fifth one. ddx of cos x. This would be minus sine x. Then the fifth base case in integration, that would be integration of minus sine x dx, right? Integration of minus sine x dx. This would be cos x
Plus k.
plus k. Good. Now the sixth and the last one, ddx of tan x
Sec squared x.
squared x, right? Sec squared x. And you know what is sec x, right?
Yep.
Sec x would be 1 divided by cos x.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay. So now, when it comes to integration, okay. So integration sec squared x dx would be tan x plus k. Okay.
Yeah.
So these are the base cases, right? So if you know these base cases, there are only 6 base cases.
Mm-hmm.
If you know these base cases, all the questions coming to your VC exam would be from these 6. Okay. And apart from this, we have to understand the variations, and I'm going to talk about that in a bit. Now, properties of integration. There are few properties for our syllabus. Okay, properties of integration. The first one would be, if you have a function, first one, like k fx dx, if you have something like this to integrate, where k is a constant, then you can always take k out. Right? If k is not a constant, you have to keep it, right? So it's like this. You take k out, and that would be fx dx. Okay, so this is how you write it. But you have to remember, if you have something like this, k as a function of x, along with f, which is a function of x, you cannot take kx out. You cannot write like this. Okay, you can't take it out.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take it out as long as this is a function of x. Why? Because this integral operator is acting on all the functions of x. So you have to keep it. Otherwise, you are doing something wrong. Then if you have something like this, fx plus or minus dx.
So would you just leave the k of x function in and not do anything?
Yeah. So in this case, you just leave it there.
Yeah.
So if you have a situation like that, you can individually integrate, like integration fx dx, then plus and minus gx dx. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can do that. So Now that's it for our syllabus. That's all we have. Okay. Now remember, note in differentiation, right? This is for our VC syllabus, right? And integration. I'm going to just give you a quick note here. In differentiation, what are the properties we have? First one would be this ddx of kfx can be written as k ddx of fx. This is the first property we have. Second one, ddx of fx plus and minus gx, right?